What's up, guys? Bringing a video to you here, man. This is an important video. This is a video that I've been meaning to shoot for a little while because this is something that's been coming up in the gym with a lot of the guys that I train, and like I said, it's something that's very important. It's about something that's somewhat controversial, but nonetheless, it's something that needs to be covered. Something that I've addressed with my guys in the gym. But what I've come to find typically is, if something's coming up, 3, 4, 5 times in my facility, within a month period, then usually that's pretty indicative of kind of maybe something that's going on a larger scale. I have a pretty small sample size, working with, 60 to 100 kids on a weekly basis at that high school age. And usually when something comes up more than once from different guys, there must be something out, going through social media, maybe something going through the high schools, whatever it might be. Something's coming up that's warranting these questions. And over the past month or so, I've probably had 5 or 6 different occasions when guys have come to me asking about steroids or testosterone or HGH, whatever it might be. And my take on it, and if they should take it, and all this stuff, man. So, like I said, this is a very important topic. This is something that has lifelong implications. So we're gonna tackle that today, and we're gonna go over my take on steroids and just PEDs in general. So the first question I get when this stuff comes up is a lot of guys ask me if I've ever taken them, if I ever taken steroids or testosterone, HGH, any kind of PED. And the answer is no. I've never even contemplated taking any of that stuff at any point in my life, man. I've been lifting now since I was 15, 16 years old. So, going on probably like 14 years. And like I said, if you're around the gym that long, it's gonna come up at some point or another. You're gonna have opportunities, which is just another reason why I wanted to do this video, man, especially because a lot of the guys I train are gonna be going to college, playing sports at the Division I, Division II level, trying to get an edge over the competition, and this stuff is going to be available, man. There's gonna be instances where you're gonna be tempted to maybe do that, man. So this is why I wanted to do this video. So no, I've never taken them, never even thought about taking them, and I'm gonna tell you why, man. So we're gonna cover the 2 main drawbacks, right? We have the physical drawbacks and the health drawbacks, and these are the ones that most people are aware of, right? I don't know the super in-depth details and intricacies of all that stuff, because like I said, man, I never messed with them. I never looked at it. Didn't matter to me what the drawbacks were because I was never going to take them. I was never going to do them, So a lot of guys, they come to me and they ask me, oh, what happens if you do this? What happens if to be honest, I really don't know. I mean, I know the basic information that most people know, right? Like we see all these like old school wrestlers that wrestled in like the 80s and 90s and stuff that were, roided out of their mind. And, they keel over and die from a heart attack, in their 50s, in their late 40s, 50s, and they die, because their heart is jacked up from taking those steroids. And then, the lucky ones that don't, die, don't have a massive heart attack at a young age, they're forced to live the rest of their lives with issues as it pertains to their hormone profile and their energy, and it's all jacked up, man, because once you take, hormones from an external substance, it completely jacks up your body's natural ability to produce these things and its natural cycle with these things. So you're basically handcuffing yourself to a lifelong journey of issues with natural production and your natural levels and being in optimal ranges. As a man, when your testosterone's in the basement and it's all jacked up, man, you feel like ass, okay? I can't tell you how many podcasts I've listened to, interviews I've watched, where I hear about strength and conditioning coaches that messed with this stuff earlier in their life, whether it be, in college trying to rehab an injury, come back from an injury, or trying to crack the starting lineup, or make themselves more noticed, to try to get a scholarship somewhere, whatever it might be, man. And they messed with it for a very short amount of time, and 20, 30 years later, they're all jacked up from doing it, man. Not to mention, being in the gym as long as I've had, man, you hear horror stories of guys taking stuff, you know, they think they're taking testosterone or they think they're taking HGH and you know, they don't really know where this shit's coming from, right? And they could be taking God knows what, right? So it's not worth it, man, because like I said, you don't know where it's coming from, you don't know exactly what's in it. It could be cut with something else. It's a disaster, man. It's not worth it, okay? But as scary as the physical and health side effects are, the biggest reason, like I said, there's two main ones, right? We just went over the first one, but the second one is the one that's most important, okay? And this is the one that nobody really wants to address, the biggest reason I never took them, and that's the mental side effects, man. The mental drawbacks. And when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about roid rage, you know, and all the you know, the crazy emotions, the up and down roller coaster of emotions that you have with steroids and stuff like that. I'm talking about how it shapes your mentality, especially moving forward in life, man. And this is the one no one talks about. Because as soon as you take a steroid, a PED, you know, whatever it is, as soon as you take that to try and level up or get an edge on the competition or whatever it might be, man, you are admitting to yourself that you alone are not enough. You don't have what it takes. So you turn to an external substance, you know, whatever it is that they're gonna take, right? To make them what they think that they are not by themselves, to level up, to evolve, right? They need that because they can't do it alone. They don't have what it takes. And that's why I never took them, man. Because as soon as you do that, as soon as you take that, you completely destroy and annihilate all of your self-belief, all of your self-confidence, because you are admitting to yourself that you're not enough. And that's an issue, man, because I'm telling you right now, as you progress through life, and once you start experiencing life, real life, self-belief and confidence is one of the most valuable assets you can have, you know, as, you know, not only a man, just as a human being in general. So taking a steroid and completely destroying that at such a young age, man, at such a formidable age, is one of the biggest mistakes you could make. Because like I said, once you get out into real life, once you get into the real world, life is gonna happen, man. Shit's gonna hit the fan. Life's gonna, you know, deal you some fucking haymakers and some low blows, unwarranted, unsuspected. And there's gonna be times where you have nothing to call on except yourself. You have to pick yourself up and you have to figure shit out. And there's no steroid to take in that situation. There's no supplement, there's no pill, there's no shot that you can take to help you when that happens. And it will happen. And what you do, man, when you take a steroid to beat out the competition, to try and cut corners, to try and evolve, then you're training your mentality and your mindset to look for shortcuts. And there's nothing you can do when you're in a real situation, man, and life fucks you up. There's not a steroid to take in that situation. You have no self-belief. And then what happens? What do you do at that point? You can't call on yourself because you've never did it. You always looked for something else to help you achieve the things you're trying to achieve, to try and overcome the things you need to overcome. And what happened? Those people usually, like, a lot of times that's the people you see, man, when they're low, when they're in a storm of life, when they're depressed, when shit hits the fan. That's when you see them, they turn to, once again, external substances. Only in this case, like I said, there's no steroid they can take, but there's substances they can take, like alcohol, drugs, pills, you know, whatever whatever it is, right? To try to numb themselves, to try to cope with the misery and the self-pity and the belief that they have, the self-belief they do have is that they're not enough and they can't cut it. They're not good enough. And that further drives them into a deeper depression. And it's a terrible, endless spiral, man. That's why it's so important that you can't do this shit, man. You can't take these shortcuts. You have to build that self-belief, not destroy it. And you build it by going into scary situations, tough situations, facing insurmountable obstacles, not knowing if you can do it, not knowing if you can make it, but betting on yourself. And if and when you do make it through, that self-belief compounds, man. It grows exponentially. And even in the instances when you don't do it, man, say like, no, I'm not taking these steroids, and then you don't get that scholarship, or you don't come back from injury in time, and you quote unquote fail. That self-belief still grows because now you're in a position to overcome that failure. And when you continually go into situations, tough situations, and you come out the other end better than when you went into them, regardless of what the outcome is, that's how that self-belief grows. And then as you progress through life, you have all of these experiences that you can call on where you showed up. You came out the other end. You did it, man. Like, you're still here. You're still standing. You're stronger than ever. So when life happens, man, when a storm comes, it's just another day. You're ready for it. If you take steroids or PEDs to try to get an edge on anybody else, you are a weak motherfucker, man. You will 100% come out the other end weaker. I don't care what the gym numbers say, what your lifts are. I don't give a shit what any of that stuff is. You are and will be a weaker person because of it. 100%, no doubt about it. You let everybody else, man, you let them take the shortcut. You let them take that weak-ass path. You take the harder path. You are building character. You're building integrity. You're building something that will serve you long-term, man. You cannot be short-sighted. You do not sacrifice your character, your integrity, your mentality, your self-belief for a short-term benefit. So 10 years from now, 15 years from now, whatever it might be, it could be as little as 2 years from now, you're way ahead of them because they tried to take a shortcut. They tried to cheat in the short term. It does not serve you long term. We always have the long term in mind, man. When you take a long-term approach to the present day, you set yourself up for success, true success, not flashy success, not the social media highlight reel success, real success. Very few people know who they are and can stand confident in who they are. Believe in themselves. It's a superpower these days, man. I'm telling you right now, if you take the time to carve this shit out right now by doing the hard work, taking the hard path, not getting distracted by all the bullshit and all the temptations and shit that constantly comes up every day, you stay focused. Put the work in, do the hard work, take the hard path. You will build that self-belief and you will be light years ahead of everybody else. I promise you. So you let all of them take that weak ass path, man. We take the hard path. We take the path that produces strength. Every time. That's why the gym is the perfect metaphor for life, man. The work you put in day out, over time, it compounds. We're not cutting the corners to get the shit now. We work long term. Self-belief, man. Confidence. Like I said, especially this day and age, it's a superpower. Because everybody's busy comparing themselves to everybody else online, getting caught up in the rat race. Oh, this dude's bigger than me. This dude's faster than me. I need to keep up, man. I need to take a steroid. I need to do this. I need to try. No. I don't want any, if you take steroids, get off my channel. I don't want you anywhere near me. The number one rule, I tell guys all the time when they walk through that door, man, the number one rule in this gym is if you take steroids, you get the fuck out. Because I don't want that shit anywhere near me. I don't want that mentality anywhere near me. Weak ass minds, weak ass people. No shot. No room in my life for that shit. Everything I have, everything that every rep, every ounce of sweat, every ounce of pain that I put in the last 14 years, man, I own 100% of it. Every result that I have gotten is 100% my own because I put the work in, and it's not going nowhere. When you take that steroid, man, you're only as good as that steroid, and only as good as you will be when you're on that steroid. As soon as you stop it, which you will, because that shit kills you, you are gonna drop off so much, and you're gonna be way worse off than when you started. It's not worth it, man. If you're on that path, you better get off it. Yesterday. And get on the path of building yourself up, empowering yourself. By putting yourself and believing in yourself, even when situations are tough, man, because that's how you build that self-belief. That's how you build that confidence. That's the level you need to be on, man. That's it, guys. I hope that makes sense, man. I hope you can understand how important this is. I hope I conveyed this enough. Share this with somebody. If you know somebody's, maybe sliding down that slope, share this, man. You could save their life. It's not worth it. But I hope that makes sense. I hope you understand the gravity of how important this is. From both aspects, man, the health and the mentality side. Thanks for watching.